These are the O'Neill Rider Shorty boots. My whole purpose in getting these boots was to have a pit bike boot because I can't really ride my pit bike with full-size boots on. It's just, it's too cramped, you know, the way they come up your leg, and you got to bend a lot on a pit bike because it's so small. So I picked these up. Actually, I got these for Christmas. I had asked for them, and they were $129. Revzilla had them for $129. And so now that I've had a couple months to use them, I got a pretty good idea of what they're about. And the first thing I noticed about these is they're bulky, they're heavy, and they're stiff. And those are the biggest downside to them, but they're also some of the pluses in it. You know, you want something that's going to protect you, you know, if you do crash. With just wearing regular work boots on a pit bike, you had to be very careful because your suspension's lower, your foot's already closer to the ground. And if your toe's sticking down and you're trying to grab an upshift and your suspension compresses, you know, you can rip your toes backwards underneath your pegs. And I've seen it happen, I've had it happen. And luckily it hasn't injured me that I needed to go to the hospital, but it's not a good situation. So if you're gonna ride a pit bike, I would definitely suggest something other than just shoes, sneakers, and crap like that, because, you know, just the added protection of having to save yourself from, say, a trip to the hospital or something, it's well worth it. For 120 bucks, these are not that expensive. Now, basically what they are is they're basically just a real motocross boot, except you're missing the top port. And here they are in size comparisons to my regular boots, so you got an idea there what's going on height wise. These, the first problem I had with these was I could not shift on my pit bike because they're so fat here. Using the regular gear shifter, I just couldn't get my toe down in there to get the next gear, so I had to buy an extended shift lever for my pit bike. And if you have an adult sized foot, plan on doing that. They're not expensive, you know, 15, 20 bucks you can get an extended shift lever. They're not a lot of money, but I definitely had to get the shift lever before I could start using these boots, because with the stock shift lever I couldn't even get my foot in there to shift. Once I got the extended shift lever, it's all good. The next thing I noticed was they're very, very stiff. Very, very stiff. And I mean, these are well broken in, so, you know, they have that flex there at the ankle. Because they're brand new, they're not broken in. And what you will notice is when you try and bend them, it puts a lot of pressure right here on your shin. So I'm sure they're going to break in, you know, a little better than what they are. I'd rather have a stiff boot that breaks in than have a soft boot and it just goes downhill from there. So okay, so there's what I'm working with. I've got wider pegs. I put extenders on this to make them wider, but as you can see, that extended gear shift lever lets me roll like this. Without this, I wasn't wearing these boots. The gear shift was just too close. So I think this is a TB USA, a T-bolt or something like that. Gear shift lever, pretty solid. So that's what they look like. They do offer a little bit less feel, obviously, than work boots. And that does take some getting used to. You might have to adjust your lever up or down. You might have to adjust it up a little bit just to give you more room to get in there. I had to adjust my brake a little bit because I lost some of that fine feel. But you'll get used to that. That's not something to slam the boots on. What you're paying for and what you're getting these for is to protect your legs and your foot, you know. So there's going to be some trade-off. Yeah, they're comfortable. They're stiff, but they are comfortable. Sizing is, I wear a 10.5 sneaker in Nikes, Reeboks, whatever. I usually go for 11 on motocross boots, which is a size 45 in the European. So with my 10.5 Reebok Nike wearing, these 45s, size 11s, fit fine. The latches are nice. I like them. I've seen other people complain about them, but I don't have any complaints on them. I like the latches. It's positive that it's exact. Like some of the old style latches, like on these comps where it grabs the other way, you know, those pieces can get a little bit torn up. I'd rather have it where you have this little bar here that it can grab onto. You can see it fits in there like that. And they're kind of low profile once you got them down. So I got no complaints about the latches. I wish I had these latches on these boots. As far as protection, I mean, my God, this is almost like a steel. This thing is, it's solid. It is a solid boot. I don't wear work boots or sneakers anymore on my pit bike. I only wear these anymore. I mean, as you get older, you know, your body gets more, you can't recover as fast from injuries. And, you know, especially if you're a working guy, you know, you don't need a pit bike to be putting you out of work, you know, when you got to support a family. So, as I get older, I tend to lean more towards buying better and more safety equipment. When I was younger, I did a lot of stupid crap, and I got away with it, knock on wood. I never had any really serious injuries on dirt bikes. But now, no matter what I'm riding, whether it's a pit bike, my WR, scooter, or whatever, I always make sure I got the proper gear on. Got to cover your feet, got to cover your jackets, you got to cover your hands, and a nice helmet. I mean, anybody's been down on pavement, you go down once at 50 miles an hour, you remember that stuff. And you remember that if you didn't have gloves, say, or if there was a gap between, say, your jeans and your jacket, you know, or road rash, you remember that stuff. And it's not fun. It's always better to err on the side of caution and have the right protection. As you can see, it's wearing a little bit here. My shift lever is wearing this out, and these have been three months now that I've been riding these, so they've been out quite a few times. But there is this plastic on top of the leather, so I don't see that being an issue. Of course, it's going to wear a little bit wearing on the inside here, you know, where I'm braking. But let's see. I'm gonna grab a scale with these weights. Okay, let's give weights here. Here's a regular motocross boot. We're looking at 3.7, 3.6, 3.7 pounds. Okay, for these, we're looking at about 2.6. So it's about a pound lighter. Like I said, it's still a heavy boot. And when I was looking, there wasn't a lot of competition in as far as like what you would be wanting to ride a pit bike with. There was the Thor Blitz, which was similarly priced, and I would have took those too. This is what I ended up with. Like I said, it was a gift, and I'm not disappointed. I think these may be a little more protection from just looks that I see on the web pages. And I'd rather have that, to be honest with you. Like I said, I still got to break it in. These things are so stiff. I like the classic look though with the metal in the front. That's kind of cool. It's like the old throwback boots. But yeah, as far as comfort on your foot, no issues. No issues at all. Very nice padding inside all around, even in the insole. As far as applications, I would wear these on my WR. I would definitely wear these on my WR. If I was just going light, like if I was just scooting around the streets, maybe running a couple errands or something, I would not wear these if I was doing some off-road riding with buddies or whatever, because you're missing that protection on your shins. A foot peg will really ruin your day and your shins. You know, I always wear knee pads underneath these too, and shin protectors, and that's kind of what you're missing here. But on a pit bike, you don't have as much of that weight, you don't have as much of that space, where I think a foot peg is less likely to do you damage on a pit bike. On a pit bike, if you're going to crash, you can basically just toss the bike. And because they're so lightweight, even if they do get tangled up in it, it's not a lot of mass that's going to cause injury. So, yeah, I would wear these on my WR, like I said, going to work or just scooting around town, and maybe some very, very light off-roading. But anything serious, I definitely want that shin protection that a regular motocross boot's going to offer. Yeah, so like in conclusion, like would I recommend this boot? Would I buy this boot again? Am I happy with this boot? And I am. And I know that, you know, given the drawbacks, it's heavy, yes, but the protection's there. And as with like a nice shoe, if you get something that's you have to break in, that shoe is so much better. It's hard to break it in. You might have to go through a week or two of, you know, switching shoes just to get it broken in. But once you get it in on a real expensive pair of shoes, it fits so much better. And it's especially if you work on your feet all day. And that's kind of what I'm feeling this boot's like. It's like once I get this broken in, I know this thing's going to be pretty sweet. And on top of that, it's got protection in spades, man. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I mean, for 129 bucks, that's not a huge investment. And I mean, even if you had, let's say, you were riding a dirt bike and you had to choose between this and work boots, you know, and you didn't have money to go get a $300 pair of motocross boots, this would definitely be better than just wearing work boots. So, yeah, I would recommend it. I would buy it again. I'm happy I got it, even though it was a gift. It's going to suit my purpose. Hopefully keep me protected.